What's up, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Sports Picks. Brian and I are going to have a great show for you this Friday. Get you ready for the betting weekend. Brian, we are one morning off of the NFL draft. It's good to see you, buddy. How we doing over there?
I'm doing great, man. My Falcons took Pitts. I did not have to burn my Falcons card. Kadarius Toney went to the Giants, and I already like the Giants because my buddy Caden Smith plays for them. I could not have scripted the draft. Really, I couldn't have scripted it any better on night one. My Falcons still got a lot of work to do on their roster, but we got a pick in every round except for the 7th. We got 3 5th-rounders and 2 6th-rounders, and I got no complaints. Devontae Smith under 11.5, Najee and Pitts. It was 3-0 on my draft bets. I'm happy as can be, other than my computer crashing. And once again, I don't have the A to Z Sports backdrop for a second show in a row. But I'm confident I'll be back to normal and doing shows from my office by Tuesday.
Well, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. Kyle Pitts is going to take care of all that for you. All right, you're going to be all set up. You'll be good to go. Yeah, and we're going to dive into the draft here in just a little bit. But, yeah, I want to welcome everybody in. Welcome to A to Z Sports Picks. I'm Alan Bell of CBS Sportsline alongside Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. A to Z Sports Picks is brought to you every Tuesday and Friday by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Everybody make sure to download that BetMGM app. If you haven't done it already, do it now. Use promo code A to Z Sports. Receive a risk-free bet of up to $600. I've done it. I've used it. It works. You'll absolutely love it. The best bet is one that you know that you can't lose money on. So make sure to download that app. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older. Must be present in the state of Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. So, Brian, like we said, man, this is one of the best sports weekends of the year. Like, it's not the Super Bowl. It's not the NCAA tournament. It's not the NBA Finals. But it's a pretty good weekend. I mean, we've got a lot, and we're going to jump right into it and break down exactly what we have. So if we look today, obviously, we've got the NFL draft coming up again tonight. We've got in the NBA, the Hawks at 76ers. We got the Trailblazers at the Nets. We got the Magic at the Grizzlies, which we're going to break that game down here in just a little bit. The Jazz at the Suns, a really good night game tonight. Baseball, we got the Cubs at the Reds. We've got the Cardinals at the Pirates. We got the Braves at the Blue Jays. Dodgers at Brewers, and then in the AHL, we got the Jets at the Canadians. So what sticks out to you on Friday, Brian? What are you looking at?
Well, I mean, obviously, the draft tonight is going to be terrific. I have got a NBA play that I guess I can go ahead and share. I like Phoenix.
Let it rip.
Yeah, I like Phoenix minus 4.5 tonight against the Jazz. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've faded the Jazz all year, but I'm doing so with good reason. Donovan Mitchell remains out. Mike Conley is also out, so both their starting guards are out tonight, and even Royce O'Neal, who's a solid scorer for them, he's listed as questionable. Now, Jay Crowder is questionable for Phoenix, but Phoenix is 24-9 straight up at home, 21-12 against the spread. Whereas the Jazz, since Mitchell went down with a sprained ankle, they're only 3-3, both straight up and against the spread, including 2 outright losses to Minnesota. And Utah for the year is only 19-13 straight up and 16-16 against the spread on the road. So I'm going to go with Phoenix minus 4.5 at home against Utah, that obviously missing their best player, Donovan Mitchell, and probably their third best player in Mike Conley. So I'll go Phoenix minus 4.5.
I like it. Now, if we jump into Saturday, an even better day, right? So obviously we're going to have the another night of the NFL draft. We've got the Kentucky Derby, which I'm going to give you some picks here in just a second on that. We've got UFC Fight Night, I believe. Reyes versus Prochazka. Is that how you pronounce it correctly?
Man, don't lean on me for that. I want to say it's Prochazka. It's something there close. I thought you were very close, and I don't know if I can get closer. So we'll go with what you said.
I've been practicing on it all week. We've got the Grizzlies at the Magic, Nuggets at Clippers, Penguins at Capitals. The Nashville Predators are at home against the Dallas Stars. The Cubs at Red Series, Cardinals Pirate Series, Braves, Blue Jays, Dodgers at Brewers. So let me say this before we jump into some UFC talk, some NBA talk on that. I want to talk to everybody about the Kentucky Derby, and we've got that coming up Saturday. Now, understand, Essential Quality is your favorite. We jumped into this Tuesday and kind of initially broke it down. I believe the odds as of right this moment sit 5-2 on Essential Quality. And what I want to let you guys know is what I'm playing on this. And again, the Kentucky Derby horse racing, there's so many different bets that you can make on it. But the important thing is to kind of keep it simple and have fun with it as well, because that's what it's meant to do. So I'm going to break down a couple of the bets that I've got on this. And if you want to, tail them, if you want to ride it, let's have some fun. If you've got some other bets that you're making, I'd love to hear those as well. So to win, I have Essential Quality, the favorite, 5-2, the gray. I see a gray. I bet a gray. That's exactly what we're doing. Now, if you want to give yourself better odds on that, because win, obviously, Essential Quality has to win that race. You could bet Essential Quality at what we call a place, and that means that Essential Quality has to either finish first or second. You could also do a show, which Essential Quality would have to finish first, second, or third. So it gives you options there, kind of like your own teaser that you can build into it. But I'm just going to go straight for the win. I always do that every year, and I'm going to ride that one. Now, some of the exotics that we have, I'm going to place an exacta bet, a trifecta, and a superfecta. Okay, so what those are, an exacta is horses have to finish in first and second place in that order. Okay, so my exacta, I've got Essential Quality first, I've got Rock Your World second, trifecta, obviously those two, and then I'm adding Highly Motivated to finish third, and then a superfecta. Obviously, those three, and I'm adding Mandaloun to finish fourth. So, again, I'd love to hear anybody, if you're riding on the Kentucky Derby Saturday, what bets that you have, if you're playing boxes, if you're playing exotics, if you're playing whatever it is, I'd love to hear about it. Now, all that, let me take a breath there. All that Kentucky Derby talk. Brian, let's get back right into the NBA. Obviously, we're just talking about on Saturday. We got some really good games. We've got a UFC fight night. Breakdown Saturday for us. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so I only have one UFC play. I will give out a second sort of lean, but the one play I like is in the main event, Dominic Reyes against Prochazka. Prochazka, I've only seen him fight once. It was his UFC debut, but he knocked out Volkan Ozdemir, and he did it in violent fashion. And this guy's got 31 career fights, and 26 have ended in the first round. And Reyes has got plenty of KOs on his resume as well, including a first-round knockout of Chris Weidman. And we can get under 1.5 rounds at for a plus 135 return. And that's what I like in the main event, under 1.5 for a plus 135 payout. And Prochazka, in his UFC debut, he did not get Ozdemir out in round one, but it still was a winner for under 1.5 because he knocked him out 49 seconds into round two. So even though 26 of 31 have ended in round one, we can say that a 27th one went under 1.5 as well. So that's a pretty high, prolific finishing rate. Now, Prochazka has been knocked out in himself as well. So, and Reyes can knock him out. So I don't have an opinion on the side. I'm just going to go with the under in the main event. Now, I'm not against a smaller play money management wise than that under I just suggested on Cub Swanson, and I'm pretty sure that's the co-main event. Yeah, Cub's a veteran, 12-7 in the UFC. He had a bad slump of 0-4, but that was against a bunch of like all top 10 guys and several top 5 guys. Since then, he has fought some, non-top 10 competition. He's won back-to-back fights, and right now he's 15th in the featherweight division, and his opponent is 14th in the featherweight division. So slight lean to Cub Swanson as about a plus 140 dog, but the main play I like is that under in the main event.
I love it. I love it. Now, as we move to Sunday and we take a look again, we got a NASCAR, which is the funniest NASCAR race name of the year, the Bushy McBush 400 at Kansas. So obviously there you go right there. Again, another good day in the NBA, Nets at Bucks. Blazers and Celtics, 76ers and Spurs. Major League Baseball, obviously the continuation of the series, the Cubs at Reds, Cardinals and Pirates, Braves at Blue Jays, Dodgers at the Brewers. Now, what I want to do is just parlay that right into, and we see it in the chat here. And again, first off, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much as well. We really, really, really appreciate you tuning in every single show, every single week. I'm telling you, I can't thank you enough. Lewis, Chesney, Kyle Larson, that's exactly who I'm betting on that race as well. I like the way that you think. And then now that we look in the chat, my man Dom Odell is talking about fading the Magic tonight or take the money line with the Grizz, and that's exactly what we want to talk about. Okay, so Brian, we take a local look here, and so we've got the Magic at the Grizzlies. Okay, so I believe the last lines that I saw, Grizzlies at home, 12.5-point favorite, and a total of 223.5. So break that game down for us. What are you riding there?
Yeah, so well, first off, I would not recommend Memphis on the money line unless it's in a parlay. Dom, I think that's. I mean, I think Memphis wins, but I mean, you're talking about
juice.
Yeah, I mean, minus 800. You don't want. I mean, Ja Morant could go down with a sprained ankle. Knock on wood. I mean, foul trouble. I mean, things can happen. You don't want to ever be laying a minus 800 price unless it's Floyd Mayweather against Logan Paul. So yeah, the Grizz. So at home this year, they're 13-17 straight up, but they're 18-12 against the spread. Now they've lost back-to-back games and 4 of their last 6. However, one of the losses is by 2 at Denver, one of the best teams in the league. No shame in there. One of the losses was at the Clippers. Another loss was at Denver. And the fourth loss in the last 6 games was at home to Portland, but the 2 wins in this 6-game stretch were over Portland. So they won 2 out of 3 over the Blazers. So despite a little mini slump here in the last 6 games, which there's really no shame in those L's, even despite that, the Grizz are still 17-6 against the spread in their last 23 games. Now, laying 12.5 to the Magic, that is the biggest chalk spot, the richest, I should say, chalk spot of the season for Memphis. So that's kind of a red flag. In fact, it's the first time they've been favored by double digits all year. Their previous richest favorite roll was minus 9.5 at OKC, and they actually lost that game outright. But let's remember, they play in Orlando here, and Orlando traded its 3 best players at the trading deadline. Orlando this year is 9-20 straight up and 15-14 against the spread on the road. They've been double-digit underdogs 9 times, and they are 3-5-1 against the spread with 2 outright wins. Orlando was on a 6-game losing streak, and they were 0-5-1 against the spread in their last 6, but they did win at Cleveland 114-109 a couple of nights ago. But Cleveland was without Colin Sexton, and they've also lost Taurean Prince and Larry Nance. And by the way, Cleveland may get Sexton back tonight. He's missed 3 games in a row with a concussion. They are going up against the Wizards at home. But I am going to include Memphis on the money line. Again, Dom, I'm cool with Memphis on the money line in a parlay, but not as a straight bet. So I'm passing on betting the game, but I'm going to include it on my parlay. And I know we'll be getting to the Friday parlay in a moment.
Yep, I like it. Now, let me ask you, what about the total? Okay, so I was just doing some notes on this game, and you obviously, know much more NBA than I do, but I'm looking at a total of 223.5, right? So Orlando's only scored over 110 in 2 of its last 11 games. But you look at Memphis, they've hit the under in 4 of its last 5. What worries me about the Grizz is when they score, they score. Like they're into 130, 130, 132, like they could put up serious points in a hurry. So any thoughts there on the on the total 223.5 over under, anything that you see, any kind of lean that you have?
Well, the over I'm seeing here is cashed in 4 straight for Orlando and is on an 8-1 run. Now that's more because they're not playing much defense. They're not necessarily scoring prolifically. And I pronounced the score of Cleveland's loss to Orlando incorrectly a moment ago. I said 114-109. It was actually 109-104 win for the Magic. But these overs that I'm mentioning for Orlando here recently, the 4 in a row, the last two, the totals were 208 and 210.5. We're dealing with 223.5 or 224 total tonight, which is considerably higher, obviously. And Orlando has only scored 109, 103, 112, 100, 96 there in their last 5 games. So the totals of pass for me, Alan, just no feel. I mean, I feel like Memphis will score plenty, but I don't know that I've got much confidence in Orlando scoring a ton.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I appreciate that. Yeah. Now, looking at the other local game that we have on tonight, we've got the Braves at the Blue Jays. And the reason we want to take a look at it, obviously, we generally break down the Braves pretty much, every Tuesday, every Friday when they're on. But BetMGM has a nice boost here on the Braves to win and the score over 8.5. It was plus 250. It's now boosted to plus 300. I'm going to put a little bit on this tonight. Again, like you always say, the kind of the baby play there. Like I'm not going to ride it large, but here's the reason why, right? So if we had to get the Braves to win and the score to be over 8.5, I think the over cash is pretty easy. I think you're looking at a game that gets into the 10, even 11. Honestly, I think the Braves probably win this game 6-5. But again, I feel good about the total. The Braves winning, again, you're kind of looking at two teams that are almost identical. You just don't know what you're going to get, really on the plate at any given night, right? So you look at the Braves and you say, all right, what are we going to get at the plate? Okay, so what are we going to get at the plate compared to both pitchers? So you look at both teams with their starting pitchers tonight, Smiley versus Ray. Both teams are 0-3 with both of the guys on the mound, right? But you look at the Braves, they're averaging 4.7 runs per game versus left-handed pitchers. And the Braves are 53% straight up in a third game without a day off and 73% of the over in that same category. So, again, it doesn't feel like a super lock that the Braves win. Again, I think they do, but you're probably, again, looking at a 6-5 type game. But I think that the over is going to cash pretty nicely. So I'm going to put a little bit on that. Again, I'm not putting a full unit or anything by any means, but I'm going to play a little bit. It's a fun little thing to have going tonight. And we parlay that into our Friday parlays. So, Brian, I kick it over to you. What is your Friday parlay on the schedule on the board tonight?
Okay, before I get to that, I just noticed some breaking news on Twitter for the Lakers game tonight at home against Sacramento. LeBron James has been upgraded to a game-time decision, so LeBron may return tonight from his, 20 – I want to say he's been out like 20 to 22 games. All right, so to the parlay. All right. I'm going to give you my official parlay, which I believe I've hit 2 in a row, so we're going for 3 in a row here. I'm going to give you my official one, but then I'm also going to throw out a couple of little factors that our listeners might want to perhaps doctor it up later today, depending on some injury info. But here's the official one that's going to be either the winner or loser, if you will. All right, I mentioned I'm going to go Memphis money line at home against Orlando. That one's automatic, minus 800. Okay, then I'm going to go with the Wizards money line, minus 280, as they are at Cleveland. Cleveland is mired in a 1-7 slump, both straight up and against the spread in its last 8, whereas the Wizards have won 9 of their last 10 games, the only loss being an overtime loss to the Spurs. And during that 9-1 straight up stretch, they're 8-2 against the spread, and both of the non-covers were only by the hook, a half point. In each instance, they were 2.5-point dogs when they lost by 3 in OT to San Antonio, and they were 12.5-point favorites when they beat OKC by 12. And even going back further, the Wizards are 11-2 straight up in their last 13, and they're 11-3 against the spread in their last 14. And if Colin Sexton gets downgraded to out instead of questionable, I'm okay with a play on the Wizards minus 7, but we're just talking about the parlay right now. So again, it's Memphis money line minus 800, Wizards money line minus 280. And I mentioned I like Phoenix minus 4.5. But for the parlay, we'll go minus 180 on the money line. So Memphis, Washington, Phoenix money line. It doesn't pay as much, but if it wins, it wins, and it would win plus 137.50 if you risk 100. Now I'm gonna throw that's my official one, but I'm gonna throw something out to our listeners. If you will just pay attention to the Atlanta Hawks injury situation. So we've got Bogdanovich and Trae Young are both questionable tonight. And Capella is also questionable tonight. If Young and Capella are downgraded to out, you could throw in Philadelphia at home to Atlanta, and they beat Atlanta by like 30 plus the other night when those guys were out. Well, Capella played, but there was no Bogey, there was no Trae. But if Trae and Capella are out tonight, Philadelphia is automatic at home too. So you could add a fourth team that would at a minus 500 price, and that would make the payout go from plus 137.50 to plus 185. So if you want to add Philly, don't do it now. If Trae and Capella and Bogey are playing, no, don't do that. But if two of those guys are out, especially Capella and Young, you could add Philly to it. Now, if you trust me on the Suns minus 4.5, like I suggested earlier, and you don't want to do it money line, you want to make your parlay more generous, you could change the minus 180 money line to minus 110, and instead of 137.50, you could get plus 191.48. And if you did that, you changed it to minus 110 and added Philly minus 500 if Young and Capella are out, it would go from plus 137.50 to plus 249.77. So just throwing those factors out there, but the official one, Memphis, Washington, Suns, and it only pays plus 137.50.
Look at you with the options, man. I like it. Well done. All right, so I'm going Major League Baseball in mine tonight. I've got 3 games that I'm going to play, like 3-legger. It's going to pay you plus 332. I'm going to ride with the A's money line. I'm going to ride with the New York Yankees minus 1.5. So, again, I think that the Yankees probably win this game by 3 runs. Again, playing minus 1.5, minus 2, it could get risky in baseball, but I'm going to ride with the Yankees on this one. I like it. And also the Cubs plus 1.5. Now, again, I think that the Cubs do outright win this game. I think it'll be tight, but again, them being the underdogs, I think that they do win outright, but I'm going to ride with the plus 1.5 since it's in a parlay, and we can eat a little bit of the juice there. So again, A's money line, Yankees minus 1.5, Cubs plus 1.5, pays you out plus 332. I like it. I'm going to ride with it. We'll see what we get. Now, to end our show, okay? And again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I know that we had some static feedback on the show just a little bit ago. I hope that it's fixed itself for you. If you're hearing it, let us know. But I think that we've got that. Now
it's probably on me if we do, and my apologies.
No, I wouldn't.
I've had technology issues all week.
we were just solving the issues here, man. Now we had the NFL draft last night, okay, and one, I thought that it was a heck of a show. Obviously, Trey Lance going at 3, was a surprise. Obviously, Justin Fields going as well where he did, and Mac Jones falling to the Patriots. As we take a look at what we saw last night, and again, I saw in the chat here, kind of everybody talking about what the Titans might do. I think that you guys are right in terms of Elijah Moore. The wide receiver position would make sense. I was kind of surprised that he didn't go last night. But yeah, go ahead.
And that'll be a steal for the Titans. If they get Elijah Moore, that would be a big time coup, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of been funny, man. The second round has been either massive hit or massive miss for John Robinson. Obviously, Derrick Henry being, a second round guy as well. And there's some others. And, the Farley pick for the Titans at cornerback, I liked it. Obviously, there's some issues there, in terms of his back and some injuries. But, I mean, this dude is a bona fide corner. It's at a position of need. So I like that pick. We'll see where it goes. But what we want to talk about is now that we've seen the first round of the draft, and there's going to be other guys that are going to be mentioned on this list as we go along through the draft, we want to take a look at who's going to be your NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Okay, so let me just read through some of these odds. So everybody, yeah, let me hit mute on that real quick so we don't hear that. All right, so we've got Trevor Lawrence plus 225, Justin Fields plus 350, Zach Wilson plus 550, Mac Jones plus 900, Kyle Pitts plus 1,200, Jamar Chase plus 1,400, Najee Harris 1,400, Devontae Smith 1,400, Trey Lance 1,600, and the list goes on as well. So, Brian, I'm going to kick it over to you first. Who do you look at? Who do you see on this list that you put your money down right now as the offensive rookie of the year?
Well, I doubt I'll surprise anybody with my pick, and that would be Kyle Pitts, and that's who's going to win it. Period. Now, if you wanted to throw another guy out there, why am I spacing on who did Devontae go to again? Why am I spacing on that? Eagles.
Yep.
I mean, I like Jalen, but I don't know that Jalen's going to be like an all-pro quarterback next year. I was going to say maybe Devontae or maybe even Najee, but with Pouncey retiring, Pittsburgh's O-line is not going to be as good as it's been in the past. So I'm just going Pitts all the way there.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Pitts plus 1,200. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I think that you put some money down on that regardless. Now, kind of go through this list, all right? And I'll go quickly kind of through each guy. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, I think he's going to be probably a pretty good quarterback. I don't see him being a Justin Herbert from last year just because I don't think that the Jaguars are that good of a team, right? Like, I don't think they're going to be able to have success. I don't see Justin Fields doing it as well, at least early. Zach Wilson, same thing. The three quarterbacks right there, I'm not feeling it. Not betting on whatsoever. Mac Jones, there's potential there. Plus 900. I like Kyle Pitts at plus 1,200 better. But again, being a quarterback, you have obviously just a better shot at winning, seasonal awards like this. So not bad. The Patriots obviously, went crazy this offseason in signing offense, adding, tight ends, receivers all over the board. But they've got some work to do as well. Jamar Chase, I think that that's a solid, bet. Again, we're not talking about putting full units, 2 units, et cetera on it, but, these are futures. You don't really have to. I kind of like putting a little bit money down there. Najee Harris, I love him as a player. I don't know what the Steelers are going to be. And the biggest concern for me is their offensive line. So I just don't feel it all that much, especially a running back. I just don't know if that's going to happen or not. You look at Devontae Smith. I like him as a receiver. I don't like the Eagles. I don't like their offense, at least this year. So I'm going to stay away from that one. Trey Lance, that's an opportunity. Now, I just don't know how much he's going to play with San Francisco, right? Like, I still don't even understand what the game plan is there at the quarterback position. So going through all of that, and let me hit mute on this real quick. Going through all of that, I think that your best bet is going to be Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase. Like, those two guys are worth, a little bit, however much you decide, percentage of your unit. If you go 10%, 20%, 25, whatever the percentage may be, I think that those two guys are your best bets. And I'll give you a little stat to even nudge you in Kyle Pitts' favor even more. All right. The last 14 seasons, 13 of those offensive rookie of the years have come from the NFC. Last year was the only one where obviously it was Justin Herbert with the Chargers, the AFC. You have to go all the way back to Vince Young with the Titans in 2006, which before Herbert, he was the last one in the AFC that got offensive rookie of the year. So obviously there's something there with the NFC. But yeah, I think Kyle Pitts is your best bet there. So as we wrap up the show, Brian, any final thoughts?
Is my computer doing okay right now?
You're good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, first off, it was our guy, the real Ryan. What about adding the Lakers money line also? I'm assuming he's asking to the parlay. If LeBron indeed plays, sure. But if he doesn't, no, they're not playing very good without him. So only if LeBron plays, and you might not know that you're not going to know that before you have to start the parlay with the early games. So I'd probably say no on that, actually, the real Ryan. So what you want me to just review my plays? So the Suns minus 4.5 against Utah in UFC tomorrow night, the main event, under 1.5 plus 135. And then the parlay tonight, Memphis, Washington, and the Suns money line. That's the parlay. Pitts to win Rookie of the Year. And I think that about covers it. Sorry for all the technology and computer issues today and the static feedback. I'm going to be good to go Tuesday, y'all.
Oh, you're good, buddy. Hey, we got it all figured out. No problem at all. So yeah, so with my parlay, I've got the A's money line, I've got the Yankees -1.5, and I have the Cubs +1.5, and that'll pay you out 332. I'm taking Essential Quality to win the Kentucky Derby, and I'll put all my picks up on Twitter so that everybody can see them in terms of exactas, trifectas, superfectas, etc., things like that. And then also, I am playing the Bet MGM boost tonight with the Atlanta Braves, that the Braves win and the score to be over 8.5. It was +250. It's now boosted to +300. And again, if you haven't downloaded the Bet MGM app, make sure to do it now. Jump on that if you'd like to ride it with me. But again, use promo code A to Z Sports, and you get a risk-free bet of up to $600. So for Brian Edwards, VegasInsider.com, I'm Alan Bell, CBS Sportsline. Everybody, have a good weekend. Let's cash some tickets.